Alright, let's check out what's going on with waves. So, I'm going to be talking about a bullish signal that we've got towards the end of the video. I do think, unfortunately, waves has lower to move down, and I've been saying this since $60. I said this once we broke below the $30 region that we were going all the way down to $7, and then since we broke below $7, I've been also saying that we're going to break lower. So it seems very obvious, very black and white in my opinion, that waves is exceptionally bearish at this moment in time. We unfortunately don't have many fib impulses we can draw from because it's basically been a straight line down, and you wouldn't really find too much confluence if you drew like a fib like this, but these are kind of the real bounces that we have. You can see this fib was not really respected at all because we don't have any data traded on it. So it'll be interesting to see if this micro fib plays out. It seems to be more respected because we broke below the 1.618. We're consolidating beneath it. The accumulation range down here, $7.63. If we zoom out, it was not a good idea for us to come back down to this accumulation range. We knew it was a red flag. I made a video called Waves Red Flags where I ran through about 10 red flags that I saw on waves, and I said I think we're going much lower, and since then we've massively capitulated. The problem is that you had this big run up in 2021, and that's all good. You took a year to make a new all-time high, which is okay. You can take as long as you want. You can take 4 years, 5 years, the longer the better, but this is where it gets sticky. You capitulated below the previous all-time high, you capitulated below the 618, you capitulated below both 618s, this was the 200-day, you capitulated below the 200-day, you capitulated below the daily EMA ribbons, and ever since then, we've been doing nothing but decimating every single level of support that we have on waves, and it sucks because at this moment in time, I mean, look down, there's not a plethora of ranges where we can expect a ton of support from. So let's talk about where I think we could potentially be going down to. Let's mark this 2.618 and see if it actually lines up with anything in the past that we've seen. And it doesn't seem like it would be lining up with anything really, so I'm only going to be focusing on the 2.618 as the next price target, purely based on this Fibonacci, and as we're miles below the 1.618 at this moment in time, it makes perfect sense to me that we'd be moving down to the 2.618. That being said as well, tons of volume is still coming in. I mean, this is really indicative. There's been a huge surge of volume ever since Waves was accused of being a Ponzi scheme and pumping its own crypto. USDN lost its peg. Since then, there's been tons and tons of stable coins losing their peg. So I really think that as Waves had the first mover, well, I'd say first mover advantage, but it's more of the first mover disadvantage because everyone still has distrust for these stable coins, and obviously Waves was one of the first to move to the downside. Waves USDN, that is. This Waves is not a stable coin. However, if you don't know, Waves has their own stable coin called USDN or US Dollar Neutrino, and that previously massively capitulated below its peg. So these stablecoins, I think they're going to keep going down to much lower price targets in my opinion. Let's actually go over to CoinMarketCap and see how USDN has been holding up since we last checked it out. Hopefully it's come back up to its peg of $1. If not, then it's probably going to be pretty nasty. It's holding 90, 96, 97. The past week we've been trying to come back, but you can see, like I said, this had the first mover advantage. This came all the way down to 74 cent back in, this was a while ago. Let's see, oh no, this was this month. So yeah, I guess time flies very fast in crypto. This felt like a lot longer than previously mentioned, but also the altcoin market cap is capitulating. Let me show you if I pull up the altcoin market cap. This is simply the total crypto market cap minus Bitcoin, but this is massively capitulating. This means, in my opinion, all the altcoins are bearish, they're breaking down. This is obviously going to drag Waves down. Waves didn't need the altcoin market getting dragged down to drag itself down, but all that being paired, we're seeing an increase in volume, we're seeing an increase in momentum. We're taking out the lows already, so I think this is conservative to say that Waves is coming down to $3.57. I also did want to highlight, because I do like to keep my TA as objective as possible, and if I think that we're going to break down bearish but I see a bullish signal, I will be letting you know that bullish signal, even if I don't think it's going to be playing out. So just letting you know that. But you can see the price is currently coming down. Depending on whether you want to draw it from here or here, it doesn't matter, because what you're noticing in the price is moving down, but the oscillator, specifically being the money flow indicator, we're not seeing any divergence on the RSI or the OBV, which is the on balance volume. In fact, we're seeing baby divergence on the OBV since here, because you can actually see since this wick here, we've also moved down. So it does seem like we're seeing a tiny bit of strong bullish divergence. And what you see with this strong bullish divergence, this is when the price chart, which you can see here, Waves is coming down and the oscillator moves up. So this is being the money flow indicator and the OBV. This can sometimes be a signal that the bottom may be in. However, I think looking at what's going on with Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin's about to chop and break down to 22,000. Doesn't have to be this week, doesn't have to be today. Can be this month, can be next month. These things probably will take time. But what I'm noticing here is this scenario is almost exactly like what we're seeing here with this triangle pattern, all-time high breakdown, 1 week capitulation, wick bought up on the dip and then pushed back down. This is what I think is going to be playing out for Bitcoin. Looking at that, you know, acknowledging that all these altcoins are very much being underperformers against Bitcoin, it seems fairly obvious to me that Waves is going to get slaughtered at least another 40%. So like I said, I think it's conservative to estimate that Waves would be moving down to $3.57. Bear in mind, I've been calling for, you know, $7, $10 on this since we were up here at 30, and, you know, people said, you know, I was going to be wrong then. People put laughing comments saying $10, and they deleted their comments because I searched for them. But, you know, people said, you know, $10, laughing face, we're not going to go down to $10. And now those people have left my channel. Now we're down at $5. And I still think we're going to move down lower. You can see we really don't have much support on the price coming down until $4.83. And below that, we don't have support until $2. So, you know, I do think a range bound bounce is probably going to be in play at some point between this range. So in my opinion, where we could expect a short-term bounce that I would not be trading for Waves would be round about the $3.56 all the way down to the $2. This means that yes, I am predicting at least another 40% move, but we could move down another 66.5% before we do see any type of bounce in the market. That is all I've got for Waves. Like I said, I don't really think this bullish divergence is going to be playing out. It is a really small divergence over on the daily. Normally it works a lot better when you're seeing it over on the weekly, and on the weekly, you know, the divergence started or, you know, we started making, you know, higher highs still, but this was from down here, and, you know, we're moving down, so it doesn't look good at all in my opinion. From here, this was broken, moving down, we're moving down, so really nothing's changed. Not seeing any macro bullish indicators. I'm really only seeing signs that we could be having, you know, a very dinky baby bounce in the immediate short term. I don't think it'd be something that'd be playing out over a long period of time. That's all I've got. I think $3.61 is on the table. That is my first price target for Waves. If we do break down below there, and I do think we will at some point, I think we'd be coming right down to the $2 mark. That is all I've got for Waves. I hope you found some value in this video. As always, Cowboy out. Peace.